This is Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. Brought to you by Leading Lights, LLC. Hello, welcome back everyone to Foxboro's Fortress, your home for all the latest on the New England Revolution. Again, I'm Cecil, Kenney.
And I'm Raphael, Babchuck.
And today we're joined by Counterpress Pod's own Kirk, Kinsey, and LAFC Daniel. Say hi, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
How's it going, Revs fans? How's it going, Cecil, Raphael? Good to see you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on here. You're gonna help us, break down that 2-0 loss to LAFC, and also look ahead to that Columbus Crew match coming up for the Revs.
Big thanks to our sponsor, Leading Lights LLC, for sponsoring this episode. More on them later, but for now, let's dive into this game. And for us Revs fans, let's just get over it.
Well, Gonigo started the game for the first time since his injury. He came in last week, but he started again for the first time this time. Chuntai goes to the bench though as the only attacking option. Over for LAFC, you guys have a ton of attacking options just everywhere. Bringing in Sun recently. What's it like having attackers?
I think it's funny because there is a lot of talent on the roster, and I think a lot of LAFC fans would tell you that they're actually underperforming that talent. Obviously, with someone coming in, it's a huge name, a huge presence, a huge talent, and so everybody's pumped. It's like the whole vibe around LAFC has shifted, but what we typically see is none of those people work well together. A la Olivier Giroud, who was just told to pack up his things and leave. So it's always exciting at LAFC because they're always signing new and big players, but you never know if it's actually going to work out for them.
Yeah.
One of the things with LAFC thus far, too, is while we have the attacking talent, they don't know what to do in the final third. And it really comes down to individual performance. And so you have a guy like Denny Bouanga, who has won a ton of games this season. The guy scored a bunch of goals, a lot of them off of penalties. But he finds a way to be effective in the box. And so you add a guy like Sun in, and while yesterday maybe it didn't look the best, right? I think Sun only touched the ball one time in the first 23 minutes of the game. It's exciting, it's promising, and I'm hoping that as time goes on, as they develop more chemistry, it looks a little bit better than it did yesterday.
Yeah. In terms of hype for the team, there in Gillette, there were a bunch of fans.
I think there's more Sun fans than there was Revs fans in that state, which is story of this season basically.
Yeah,
when the Miami game, you're obviously expecting more Messi fans, but
I wasn't. I know Son is a big name and everything, but I wasn't expecting that. It was probably our most filled. It
was most filled since Messi,
Miami.
and it's majority of Sun fans, which was
So it was good to see from Reds fan perspective when they scored, to hear some fans getting loud, and
not even some fans,
the fans getting loud, and it's cool to. I obviously love to see players come from Europe and playing the MLS because that draws more attention to the league. But in terms of a Reds fan, I just I'd want to see more proactivity and getting our fans louder, because we can't have this all the time. We had this in the Messi game. Messi fans were louder. I didn't expect this too much in this game, but they were loud. Yeah. So in terms of Reds fans perspective, we have to, especially our section, our fort, where we get all our energy up, we got to be louder. We got to show that we are the home team.
Yeah.
Yes. So they asked Steve Cherundolo in the press conference after the game, is there any added pressure? They said there were thousands of Revs fans Sun fans that were there. That's not like anything that LAFC has experienced, even with guys like Gareth Bale or Giorgio Chiellini on the roster. This is a different level of stardom. And while I knew that in LA we were going to get a ton of new eyes on the product and globally, I didn't realize that there was going to be that US fan base all around different regions that were going to show up to games and kind of make every away game feel a bit more like a home game. That was really shocking to me.
I got a few pictures of the game yesterday. It was like the corner where like LAFC comes out, where the away team comes out, there was like people stacked on top of people on top of people. It was just like so many people in this one corner, and then there's like no one throughout the rest of the stadium. They were all right there.
They were all right there waiting for sun to come out. I saw a couple of interesting signs. I saw "You on my sunshine." Don't worry about sunburn. I saw a couple of good puns in there, but it was packed but the stadium as a whole, there were still a bunch of Revs fans, and I do like seeing the stadium more full than it usually is, which, even if it's the other team's fans, I like to have more atmosphere in the stadium. So at least, even if it's not all Revs fans, it's still nice.
It's nice to have, bodies in the stadium.
Yeah.
Like last week, I think it was 21,000 almost. Like we've done so much better, and it is just so bad right now.
Yeah. In terms of the product for the Revs, people don't want to come in terms of our performances. And in this game, you saw, our performances. First half, in my opinion, I thought we were the better team than LAFC in that first half. I thought, we kind of kept LAFC. We had, I think it was first, maybe even 25, 30 minutes. I don't think they had a shot in the game. So we were playing well. And then I don't know what happened in that, halftime. What, I don't know, Caleb Porter says to our team, just for us to come out. And, it's not like after the second half, we came out and weren't, we were terrible. We just didn't come out, I feel like, as good as we did in that first half. And then we had led a couple mistakes in, and then LAFC scores, and then we just kind of go all downhill from there.
I think you're absolutely right that in the first half, the Revs controlled the game. LAFC wasn't anywhere close to scoring. And this is kind of what we see from LAFC, right? Where they're not a team, despite what the commentators kept saying in the first half, that like they can break down any team in the league. I don't know what LAFC they've been watching for the past 4 years, but that's not their game. Their game is they're going to beat you in transition. They're just waiting for the right moment, the right turnover, the right mistake. So you see actually a lot of their attacks start from really deep, and they're going to try and hit you with, Hugo Lloris punting the ball out. And in this match, it happened to be, I can't remember, maybe it was Feingold. Was he the left back that turned over the ball to Tim Tillman on that goal?
I think it was either Feingold or Peyton Miller.
Okay.
I think it was Matt Polster.
Matt Polster. Okay. All right.
Okay. So they turn over the ball in a bad spot, right? And this is Tillman's game. He's a pressing monster, and he turns him over right outside the penalty area, falls to Son, who can't really do anything with it. And then that ball happens to fall right to Marky Delgado, and he does great to put it away. And once you do that to LAFC, like you can have the best game plan. You can they can play a terrible game, but if you give them one shot like that, they will put it away, and the game is really over at that point because they're so good defensively. Because really, they're just fine packing it in and picking spots to counter.
Yeah, you mentioned Delgado there. I felt he was everywhere yesterday. Like, anytime I was looking down, he was always right there. He had a goal. I thought he played really well yesterday.
Yeah. This is kind of one of those stories around LAFC right now is a lot of people are really upset with Mark Delgado and Tim Tillman. I don't know. I mean, I know why. It's because they want to see them scoring goals. LAFC plays with like a very workman midfield that is just going to turn over the ball and try and hit you on the counter. They're not super creative. Steve Cherundolo doesn't seem interested in playing that kind of game with the midfield anyway. But Tillman and Delgado get a lot of hate from LAFC fans, ironically, because Igor Jesus is the one that's really bad.
Yeah. I've seen him underperform slightly, in my few games I've watched of LAFC.
Yeah, you saw a home game at LAFC.
I did see I went to LAFC last summer against the Colorado Rapids. When Kevin Cabral got his red card, I think it was 3-3. Bogu's got his hat trick.
I remember that game. Yeah,
that was a really fun game.
Entertaining game. Yeah, really entertaining.
I really liked
You just happened to be in LA that weekend, or?
Well, my family goes on a vacation every summer to go watch soccer in a soccer-specific stadium. The Reds don't have one yet. This summer we went to Minnesota. We went to Cincinnati before LA. All of them in great environments. So
yeah, cool.
That's really cool.
Thank you. Good.
Yeah.
Alhassan Yusuf played amazing.
Yeah. Alhassan Yusuf, I won't say the word amazing, but I thought Alhassan Yusuf for the Revs played great. How he usually does, he usually plays a solid game. And, just like how people say when you watch that defensive mid, the game really opens up.
Yeah.
People say when you watch Busquets in that Barcelona team, you really see the game. So if you see right there, sometimes when I'm sitting with Cecil at the games, I'm like, let's watch Yusuf for a second. We watch him for like 3 minutes, just him. And you really see how the game unfolds. And, he was great. He was solid throughout the game. I thought, in terms of the Revs, I thought he was probably our best performance. In terms of the team, I thought Alhassan Yusuf was great. So if we're talking about a good in that game, I'd say the first half was good.
Yeah.
So that would be my good. I'd say our first half was good. But and then when we go into our bad, as a Revs fan, our bad is we did not win the game. We let, a mistake and LAFC scores. And then it really is 1-0 until that, last minute LAFC scores again.
I want to mention the story of this season. What is Caleb Porter saying at halftime?
Yeah.
The Red Bull game. We were up 2-0. We lost 5-3.
Yeah.
What is he saying at halftime for this game where we were 0-0 and we lost 2-0?
Yeah. He probably didn't get the information out. That's probably it. He was on his board moving all the
tactical board,
his tactical board, but he couldn't get the information out because that's what always happens with him.
It's always story of our lives right here. It is.
And we felt so much positivity after that win versus DC when in reality we shouldn't have even felt so much positive because that's a team we should have beat, like how we should have beat Montreal when we didn't. But I mean, we haven't won since May 31st. So when we finally got that win, we were, me and Cecil were at that game. We did an episode live at Gillette Stadium, and we were ecstatic. We were excited for this LAFC game, and that first half, I predicted in that half, I predicted a 0-0 draw, and after that first half, I thought that's where it was going because the Reds seemed like the better team, but I didn't think they were necessarily going to score. But then they gave it that mistake. LAFC scored, and then I didn't really see us being able to score after that because if we could have scored in that first half where we were the better team, where they didn't really have any shots, and then until like the 30th minute, I didn't think we could score for the rest of the game. And, we didn't. And now we're back to this negativity, especially around Caleb Porter. And I was looking forward to waking up this morning. Him being sacked didn't happen. I don't know what the rest are waiting for.
I think it's hard to want to sack a coach right after playing LAFC. As hard as Kirk and I have been on the team, I mean, the team is immensely talented. And when I look at your guys' 11 that you trot out there, I think that there's a clear level of difference in quality with the LAFC players. Yeah, it's rather large, and you guys have players that I like Carlos Hill is an incredible player. Campana I think is solid. Yusuf definitely looked good for me. Kirk and I had watched a couple of Revs matches earlier in the season. I know he wasn't a player that really shined for us. But I thought he was pretty good yesterday. I really like that guy, Brian Ceballos, that you guys have on the back line. I think that guy is really good. That guy covers so much ground. He's good on the ball. I think he got into the attack a little bit too. He was breaking lines down. I think that guy's a really good player. So you guys have some good foundational pieces, but Boanga Son Martinez is a front three. Just the quality in our attack is different. Quality on the back line. I mean, Ryan Hollingshead and Sergi Palencia are two of the best fullbacks in MLS. So I don't want to be too hard on Caleb Porter, but I know that this is an ongoing thing for you guys where I think you guys feel like his time is up.
Yeah.
I think
his time was
a while back
for me. Middle of last season.
Yeah.
And now we're towards the end of this season. And right after that Son assist and Schwenya, I think I said that right. Goal.
Nobody knows how to say our name.
Nice. All right. Right after that, stadium broke out in all the Sun fans are cheering, and then you got our fort, and we got our small little second fire Porter.
Yeah.
And that, chant breaks out. It has
too
many times before.
It has too many times before. So I mean,
I'm gonna run through some stats real quick. We were very similar just in everything. Similar possession, similar shots on target. You guys just had, better XG in everything. So I don't know, start scoring goals, Revs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe putting more than one attacking option off the bench and not cutting Luis Diaz and Max Rudy halfway through the week. I don't know. Maybe that would help. I don't know.
Even if they're not the best options, at
it's
least we
still
have options.
It's still an option.
At least we have options.
Maybe give the Revs two guys a chance.
Yeah, but instead we have just Chancellor, our only attack, come off the bench, which then leads to not having enough subs, having enough good subs in the game. So we decided to went in the 86th minute, Jackson Newell, who's getting paid $1 million a year to sit on the bench.
That was his 9th appearance, and he is making $1 million a year.
Yeah. So
I think was it Shankly that took the ball? He cut out a cross with like a really unbalanced shot. There was like a perfect attack, and somebody was open on the left wing for the Revs in the second half.
Oh, yeah.
And as the play was unfolding, I was like, "Oh, here's the equalizer right here."
Yeah,
and Shankly comes in and he tries to take like a left-footed shot while he's off balance and just shanks it.
Yeah, Peyton. He should have left that for Peyton.
Yeah.
God, that would have been nice.
That would have been would have been nice to score, but it didn't happen. So highlight for subs in the game. Chancellor went in for Gandigo, who made his first start since the injury. I don't think it was anything great from Gandigo.
Yeah.
What we've been saying all season, we've seen that he kind of has that class that he can show, but he just really doesn't, and he doesn't show how really good he could be for this team. And low light from subs. Jackson Newell getting subbed on, so that's not what we want to see. Also, one thing I want to bring out for a Revs perspective, Tanner Beeson, ever since that, let's say for this Miami game when he gave up a mistake, hasn't been starting recently, and he's been coming off the bench. So he came on for Eli Feingold yesterday in the match.
We went back into a 5 at the back when Brandon Bai came in.
So in terms of he's been kind of not been able to play as recently ever since that mistake. Really,
we can pinpoint his downfall too.
Yeah,
when you said we need to get better.
Yes,
or you need to get better.
Yeah,
those are two guys, Beeson and Bai, that I watching this team in the past I thought were pretty good. I know Beeson had that header mistake against Miami where he plays it back into the attacker's path. Miami ends up scoring off of it, but in watching Beeson has been very solid defensively, at least from what I've seen. And Bai, I know he was someone that I think he's a homegrown player, has been there the entire time. He's someone that I've really liked every time that I've watched him play. So I'm curious as to why they couldn't get in the game for more than 10 minutes last time.
I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah.
And again, more and more questions that have to be asked of Caleb Porter. And more and more things that Caleb Porter has to answer to. Because
I'd love to dig into that a little. I mean, it's not my show, but like the game plan was so good. And like the first half, I thought they controlled it by just getting back. Like they were so committed. All 10 outfield players were so committed to anytime there was a turnover, they'd be behind the ball again quickly. If Bouanga was the one carrying the ball, there'd be 2 on him to slow it down so everybody could recover. And then, in the second half, it just didn't happen. And then I think they're really unfortunate to give up that goal so early in the second half on just a kind of careless mistake. But like, what is it about them in the second half that causes them to collapse like this?
Yeah.
Do we just say Caleb Porter?
No, because it's not just Caleb Porter. We can't just blame it on the coach because we can. But in terms of, Caleb Porter, I think after he came in last season, Kurt Onthal was like, all right, you got everything. We took out 18 players. He brought in 13 of his own players, and he brings them in. And, they're not playing as we signed all these players, and they're not playing as we should. We're kind of in the same spot as we were last season, kind of not even close to the playoffs. So, and I think the players also, I think either they lose, because I feel like in the start of the second half, that's usually our weak point in almost all our games. We usually don't come out as strong. So I don't know if it's that break that we really, in the locker room, we're not talking as good, because we have to give constructive criticism in the locker room. Because I see sometimes at the end of the half, I think it was 2 games ago, I forget which game it was, we have players yelling at each other across the field for our players.
Shankly and
Ivicic, they were yelling at each other across the pitch. And then after they were going to the locker room, that gives negative feelings and not giving criticisms of what you could do to improve. And then we come out on the field and then they don't play as, what they should be playing, which is what we were doing in the first half, playing better than LAFC. So we come out with not the same energy, and which is what we need to be doing. And we need to have, Caleb Porter I'm bringing it on him. We have to bring Caleb Porter, talk to the players about how they can impact more. And I just don't, every time they come out in the second half, they're just not as good as they were.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of the opposite with LAFC, where we know that the roster is good relative to like everybody else in MLS, and they get to these spots in championships or whatever. I mean, again, it's like it's rich that we're complaining about this to you guys because you guys are in a much worse spot than LAFC are, but they can never get over that final hump. They get right to a final or whatever, and then good teams pick them apart and just destroy them, and everybody's left kind of wondering, well, what happened? And so that's why Steve Cherundolo has drawn a lot of ire, and he's always saying, and a lot of his defenders are always saying, oh, the players aren't good enough. The players aren't good enough. When it's clear that like the players could be a lot worse if they were one of, however, 29 other MLS teams. And so it's interesting that Caleb Porter seems to have good game plans, and maybe the players don't have the legs to execute them for 90. Whereas LAFC just, it's like they're a one-trick pony, bunker and counter through Denny Bouanga, and hopefully with some that now they at least have two tricks to pull out of the hat.
One of the things too that we complain about Steve Cherundolo is like know your players, right, and put them in a position to succeed. And so it sounds like we're similar in that aspect, where you guys want Caleb Porter to line the team up a little bit differently, and you want him to get a little bit more out of the sum of his parts, which again might not be the same parts that LAFC has, but we're both similar in that aspect.
I'm gonna run through my man of the match real quick. It's Yusuf. Easily. Yeah. You also said
I also think Yusuf is the man of the match. In terms of rest perspective, I think he was great. He was the best rest player. In terms of man of the match from overall and LAFC, I thought Hugo Lloris was great in that first half. He stopped a great shot. I think we played it short from a corner, and then I think it was Ganago. We almost scored. Lloris made a great save. He made a couple in that first half, and I feel like if we score those goals, if Lloris isn't that great goalie that he is, then it's a whole different game, because then the revs are up, and then maybe in halftime and Caleb Porter tells our team to let lose, because that's what happens at halftime for us. But it's a different game, and I think if Lloris doesn't make that save, then it's a different game. And I do think we could maybe come out of that game with a victory. So I thought he was great, especially in that first half. So overall, I think Hugo Lloris.
Yeah, I'll give mine to Delgado. I said it earlier. I thought he had a fantastic game. I'll give it to Delgado. Who you guys got?
For me, it's Tim Tillman. The guy is influential on both goals that LAFC scores. He completely catches Polster off guard, leading to that first goal, and then his pressing leads to the counterattack for that second goal. I think some of LAFC's better chances for the evening come through Tillman, and he's just a workhorse, man. That's what he does.
Yeah, that's mine as well.
That's very fair. I want to point out my prediction from last episode.
I said 0-0, which obviously didn't record, but
I said 2-0 LAFC.
Yeah,
which means
we get donuts next episode. So that's a win for us. We've only had that one time so far, so
that's 2. And I've gotten them both.
You have gone. All right, now I'll work better next time. But look forward to that next episode for Foxboro's Fortress. For now, those are all my thoughts on the LAFC match.
Yeah. You guys got anything else?
Not really. I think we pretty well covered it. I mean, it was tale of two halves, and again, the difference for me was that LAFC was able to capitalize on that bad turnover, and the Revs weren't when Igor Jesus turned over the ball in kind of a similar area in the first half. So we won.
Well, I'm going to send it over to our sponsor of the episode, Leading Lights, LLC. Unlock the power of your platform data with Leading Lights, experts in transforming raw numbers into compelling benchmarks. Leading Lights helps a variety of companies turn insights into engaging stories that drive growth. Elevate your brand with data-driven content that captivates your audience and sets you apart from the competition with Leading Lights. Visit their website at leadinglights.io to see how you can transform your platform data. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Foxboro Fortress, your home for our list on the New England Revolution. Again, I'm Cecil Kenney.
And I'm Raphael Babchuck.
We have LAFC Daniel on the other side. Say hi.
What's up, guys?
All right. We are Kirkless for the second half.
Kirk ended up like the Revs yesterday, here for the first half,
Oh,
but disappeared in the second half.
Good.
That's good.
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
That's
No
really,
show in the second half.
That's really bad. That is so bad. Oh my god.
All right. Let's go to
Sorry, I had to.
That was good though.
Yeah.
We're gonna look into that Columbus match for the Revs coming up. They're currently 6th in the East. They've brought in a lot of players this window. They haven't been bad by any means, but they haven't been like up to what I'd say is Columbus Crew standards.
Yeah.
They've been very good as of late. They have some very good players, one of which that you, Daniel, know quite a bit about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll bring him up quickly. Diego Rossi. He's been great this season. 27 years old. He's played 25 matches, 13 goals, 13 assists. So he's obviously been great. Obviously, former LAFC player. Daniel, if you want to talk about him quickly.
Yeah, Diego Rossi was one of the LAFC originals. He scored the first goal in LAFC history. Spent, I believe, 4 seasons with us. Scored a ton of goals. Young Player of the Year, and left to try his hand in Europe. He went to Turkey. He went to Fenerbahce. Ended up okay, but for the amount of money that they had paid for him, I don't think that he produced. Has come back to Columbus, and in that first season with Columbus, is a key contributor to an MLS Cup final where they actually beat LAFC. Ends up beating us again in the Leagues Cup the following year. And so now we're on year 3 where they're without Cucho Hernandez. Diego Rossi is the man, and he's delivering, right? 13 goals on the season, 3 assists. The guy is an absolute nightmare one-on-one for anyone in MLS. And so you guys are definitely going to have your hands full with him.
Yeah, I don't know if any one of our, fullbacks and especially can be with him. I know Peyton Miller's been great this season, but then again, he's 17 years old. So, he doesn't have the experience there. And then Eli Feingold, again, also younger, I think 20 years old. But he's been, in my opinion, the better of the two. But I still don't see Diego Rossi is the person we have to watch out for. And I want to bring up the LAFC game again quickly because I remember there was this play where LAFC, I forget, who passed the ball and Son was onside. He made this run and he was wide open and it was just a little bit behind him. And if he got that ball, he would have scored. And it just like, if we don't have our eyes on Heung-min Son, who just came over, who's like right now just came over from Europe, we have to have our eyes on him. If he's there, we have to have our eyes on Diego Rossi, and we can't let that happen because if they play that pass right, then Son scores. And if we don't keep our eyes on Diego Rossi, he can do the same thing to us.
Yeah.
And I think Rossi will his movements are going to be similar to Son in the way that they want to use him, and they're going to try and find him in that central area in transition. What you're going to see with Diego Rossi, I guarantee it, because you guys have defenders that I would say are physical. At the slightest contact, this dude is going to throw himself to the floor, and he's going to force the referee to blow that whistle. And I don't think that there's anyone in MLS that is better at it. This guy is going to earn a penalty. You can bank on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to be careful with that, especially Mamadou Fofana. I think he's given up a couple penalties.
He's given like one or two
penalties. So yeah, our defenders especially like to be physical.
Yeah, he's at a tough second half this year.
100%. Because that first half of the season, I think he was on the same level as Brian Ceballos.
And then Brian Ceballos has continued on that level, and Mamadou Fofana
he's kind of
fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, it's not like he's not been. It
was a small cliff. But it's still a cliff.
I wouldn't even say so. It was a little bigger than a small cliff because I feel like he was so great in Brian Ceballos at that. At the start of the season, he was as good as Brian Ceballos, and then I don't know what happened. He just kind of not played as good, and he's kind of just been going downhill. And we really got to see him keep increasing because yes, I guess mathematically Revs can still make the playoffs. And if Caleb Porter words, we got to take it one game at a time. Fofana's got to improve his performances. Yeah. And if we want to, get Diego Rossi, we want to make sure he doesn't, get a penalty. We want to make sure he doesn't score. Our defenders, all our back line has to be on point in that game. And I wouldn't mind seeing Tanner Beeson start instead. Not instead playing 3 in the back how we would.
No, I would.
Yeah.
I would mind.
You wouldn't mind?
I would mind. I don't want to see Tanner Beason starting right now.
Yeah.
It's not really what I want to see. You know what I do want to see starting? Chunkalai, because, instead of Ganago.
Ganago didn't show what he could have shown, and I think Chunkalai should have. He even with that missed chance, he still, I think he should be starting ahead of Ganago because Ganago didn't really show that. But who do you think is going to make a big impact in that game?
I've always been a fan of Dylan Chambos since he came over. He came over from Saint Etienne in France. Also 27 years old. He's played 26 matches, 1 goal, 5 assists. I feel like he could be doing more, but when you have a guy like Diego Rossi on your team, you're not the main guy, and he's playing that second role, even third role because Max Arfsten's on that team.
Yeah,
Max Arfsten is a very good player.
Yeah,
and it's showing. I do have one person that could stop Diego Rossi though. There's only one of him.
Okay, there's only one. All right, we're good.
It's Matt Turner.
It's Matt Turner. Yeah, Matt Turner. When Matt Turner in that DC game, I thought he was great. I thought even though he let 2 goals in LAFC, I thought he was great as well. I would argue that Matt Turner is one of the, if not the best goalie right now in the MLS, coming from the Premier League. So that would, yes, maybe because he's on the Revs, I have a little bit of bias towards him, but I also think that he's a great goalie. Started for the World Cup for the US, and I think he's gonna start again in the 2026 World Cup if he keeps this form up. So, he's a great keeper, and I think for the Revs, he's someone who has to be on his game like he has been the past 2 matches, even with the 2 goals let in.
Hey, it's better than what Ivic is letting up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Matt Turner was really good for you guys yesterday. It's good to see him. I'm a US MNT fan. It's good to see him in good form and getting minutes. And there's a couple where he comes out, he claims the ball in traffic. It's been a while since we've seen Matt Turner be so sure-handed. So I think that's a great signing for you guys, and it seems like it has gotten the fan base. I watched that episode that you guys filmed live at Gillette Stadium, and I could feel the energy there, and how happy you guys were to have him back. So that's definitely a positive for you guys.
We were very happy to have him back, and something I'm seeing with Matt Turner that I just didn't see with Ivic, even when it was Ivic's job, like there was no one behind him. It was. Ivic was so kind of pulled back. Matt Turner is not afraid to go up to like the 12 or even like the 16 of his 18-yard box and like high claim that or like punch that away. He's not afraid to do that. Whereas Ivic, I don't think I saw that once.
Yeah, and it's also him. He's commanding the pitch.
Yeah,
he commands the pitch.
He's a leader. That's what he's doing. And what is he? Is he captain of the US? No, it's Pulisic.
Yeah,
is it?
No, it's Tyler Adams, right?
It's Tyler Adams.
Tyler Adams. Yep.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
still, Matt Turner, he's a leader. He's doing things that Ivic never did. He's coming up for those high claims way far out where Ivic never went. He's doing these things that they may seem like normal goalkeeper things, but when you've missed that for now multiple years, you're like, I was really missing that. That's like. And it's
brought back energy to Foxboro. I mean, Daniel, to your point, when you're saying how the fans are more excited, when he's making that claims at the, by like the 15 of this box,
fans get loud.
Fans get loud. Fans get cheering. We never had that because he's back. Even if just he's coming out to make that stop, we were cheering. We were loud for him because he's Matt Turner and he's came up from the Revs, went to England. Now he's back. And now he's, hungry.
I still think of that 90 plus 2-minute save he made against LAFC yesterday where he was like diving and he just kind of swatted away. That had us going. Yes, we let in a 90 plus 4, but hey, shouldn't have counted. Time expired. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Time expired. Once you guys got position, should have called it.
That's all Caleb Porter cares about, the goal difference. He'll be like, okay, let's just keep on to this 1-0 loss. The goal difference is good. That's what that's probably what he tells his team.
That's
what he
tells us.
Yeah. But what do you think about this game? What do you think the scoreline's going to be?
Donuts.
Yeah,
donuts.
We gotta think about the donuts. Focus in.
Diego Rossi is going to score. Harboon is going to score second.
Mm-hmm.
He's a nice young prospect that they brought up. No, he's not. It's going to be 1-1.
1-1.
And for the Revs, it's the one that matters. I'm gonna see a Luke Langoni goal. No, I'm not. Who are we kidding? No, we're not. We're gonna see Carlos Hill.
Carlos Hill, 1-1. You think Carlos Hill, Rossi and Carlos Hill, 1-1?
No, I'm gonna go back. 1-1. Diego Rossi, Leo Campana.
Okay.
On a header again. Because I feel like he might do something now that he has zero competition.
Yeah, that's true. Zero competition with Maxi Rudy.
Like Maxi Rudy wasn't
and they're
in
not going to
competition.
start Chocolate and Ganago up at top. They need hopefully he gets that.
Cecil, I'm with you, man. I'm predicting 1-1. Also Rossi penalty and Campana goal, man. I know that the Revs fans aren't high on Campana, but I think that he has quality, man. And I think that like you said, now that he has no competition, and things kind of have to run through him. You got to figure out a way to get him touches in the box. And if that means through the air, then by all means, let's start whipping in some crosses. And I say we because I'm an honorary Revs fan. That's my second favorite team this season. So I think Campana will put one in the net.
I'm gonna have to agree with. I guess we're all in agreement here. Nice. I think it's gonna be 1-1. I think Rossi either scores from penalty, probably, or even from an open play. And then I think we're down 1-0, and I think Campana does score, whether it be a header, but it'll be somewhere inside the box. He's not gonna score from outside the box, and I'd say maybe from corner routine or something. But I think we do get a 1-1 draw. And again, if we want to make the playoffs, which I don't see we do, but if we want to, because we still mathematically can, we have to win the game. But I think 1-1 is the best result we can get. I don't think we really can win this game against Columbus, seeing how good they really are. Yeah. So I think I would 100% take a 1-1 draw.
I wouldn't take it, but I would be content with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on to a quick Revs loan watch. Jack Penio, looks like he's finally back from injury. He appeared on the bench against Detroit City a few weeks ago, then just disappeared again. He was back in training this week. He appeared on the bench for Hartford this week. Last week, Thiago Suarez. I keep saying that. It's Santiago Suarez, but he goes by Thiago. I keep saying that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He did not appear on the matchday squad for their match last week against Hartford, and then they didn't have a game this week. And Max Weinstein, not having the greatest of times in Estonia. He lost 2-0 and then drew 2-2. Before that, he lost 6-2.
Yeah, or 5-2, I think it was. But
he's been rough.
It's been rough for him.
No one still knows how he got to Estonia. Because he is a Revs 2 keeper. If you don't already know this, he's a Revs 2 keeper that somehow got loaned to an Estonian First Division side.
Yeah.
We don't even know.
What does that say about that league?
Yeah.
We don't even know. Why does Estonia have a scout at Revs 2 games saying, yo, that's our guy. That's our guy right there.
Max
Weinstein. That is our guy right still. We have no idea how he got there, but yet he's not doing too well.
Maybe that's what they needed because they sit at the bottom of the Estonia First Division. So
they need the Revs 2 keeper.
Yeah. That's what they needed.
Learn from Ibicic.
But yeah. 100% with Max Weinstein. It's been poor for him.
Yeah.
In Estonia, let's just say that.
Well, we'll take a look at little transfer news here. Yeah. Dort Turgemal, a deal interest close for him. We submitted a bid for $4 million, and then we're closer with a $5.5 million bid. Nothing's happened yet as of right now. As it might happen. I don't know. I'm not on this.
They need a $7 million. They're looking for $7 million.
They were looking for $7 million.
Yeah. But we're inching closer to a 5.5.
It looks like
dollar deal.
Both sides are hopeful for a 5.5. And we also cut Maxi Rudy and Luis Diaz midway through. We're not going to get too in depth into this though, because we, as announced a few weeks ago, Raphael, Foxboro Fortress, have started Foxboro's Footnotes with journalist Cameron Benefit, who we had on the podcast. Go check that episode out. For all the Revolution news about that week. We're going to be moving over to Medium shortly, so make sure to check that out. We'll post a more in-depth announcement in the coming hours, I'd say.
Make
sure you go check us out. We post every Thursday of one article.
Yeah, one article every week. All the Revs news you need.
Yeah, basically.
All the Revs news.
Then you got anything else to add?
No, I'm looking forward to the eventual playoff run that you guys are about to go on. Even though I know that you guys don't feel like it's achievable, I'm gonna throw some positive energy out there. You guys are gonna bring in this guy. How do you say his name? Is it Turgeman?
Turgeman, yeah.
Dor Turgeman. Yeah.
All right, bring in a nice U22 for the future, get him ready for next season. So even if maybe playoffs are out of reach this season, there's some good foundational pieces there.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. Few things to add at the end. Make sure to follow you, Daniel, over at LAFC Daniel on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you go follow Kirk at Kirk Kinsey. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us for the second half, but he was great in the first half, just like you said with the Revs.
Yeah.
And then make sure you go follow your podcast over at Counterpress _. You guys do some great things over there.
Yeah, make sure to check that out.
And then make sure you follow us at Foxboro Fortress on X, Foxboro's Fortress on Instagram. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. If you're on Spotify, make sure you're following. Comment or DM us with any questions or comments. Thank you, Leading Lights LLC, again for sponsoring this episode. Next episode should come Monday, and this was
Foxboro's Fortress.